Johnny Depp goes scorched earth, reads Karoline Leavitt's bio live on MSNBC and ends her career with 4 words. You think you have seen savage television moments before? You think you know what an awkward interview looks like? Ladies and gentlemen, grab your popcorn and maybe a fire extinguisher, because what happened on MSNBC last night wasn't just a debate. It was a televised burial, and Johnny Depp was the one holding the shovel. We are talking about a moment so icy, so calculated, and so utterly devastating that the entire studio felt like it dropped 20 degrees in a single second. If you missed the showdown between the Hollywood icon and political firebrand Karoline Leavitt, do not worry, because we are breaking down every painful, glorious detail of the clapback that currently has the internet in a complete meltdown. It all started innocently enough, or as innocently as things can get when you put a famously eccentric actor across the table from a combative political spokesperson. The studio lights were flaring bright, the tension was palpable, and Karoline Leavitt was in rare form. She had clearly come prepared for a fight, launching into what can only be described as a fiery, pre-rehearsed rant about the state of modern culture. She was hitting all her talking points, but then she made the fatal mistake of turning her sights directly on the man sitting across from her. She looked Johnny Depp in the eye and essentially called him a relic. She labeled his activism outdated, irrelevant, and claimed it was based on a world that doesn't exist anymore. It was a bold strategy, attacking a man who has built a career on being unbothered, but Leavitt seemed convinced she had him on the ropes. Then he opened it. The silence was deafening. It was the calm before the nuclear blast. With a voice as soft as velvet but sharp as a razor, he finally broke the silence. He said, "All right, darling, let's fact-check together." And then he began to read. He wasn't reading a prepared statement about his own career. He wasn't reading a defense. He was reading her resume. He started with the basics, listing her birth year, 1997, subtly highlighting the generational gap, not as a weakness for him, but as a lack of experience for her. He continued, noting her time as a former White House assistant, emphasizing with brutal clarity that she lasted only 8 months. You could hear a pin drop, but he didn't stop there. He moved on to her electoral history, reading out loud that she had lost 2 congressional races, both by double digits. It was forensic. It was clinical. It was a dismantling of her professional identity, point by point, delivered in that cool, baritone drawl that has charmed millions. He then pivoted to her media career, noting that her podcast averages fewer listeners than the bloopers from his film sets. That was the moment you could actually see the soul leave her body. He pointed out the irony of her claiming to defend free speech while blocking anyone who disagrees with her online. And then came the finisher, the cherry on top of this chaotic Sunday. He summarized her latest accomplishment as calling someone who has spent decades using his platform for art, charity, and humanity irrelevant, all while she was trending online for all the wrong reasons. When he finished reading, the studio didn't just go silent. It went into a state of suspended animation. The cameras zoomed in tight. Mika Brzezinski's jaw was practically on the floor. The producers in the booth probably forgot to switch the feeds. It was a masterclass in receipt-keeping. But the physical act was just as powerful as the words. Depp folded the paper with delicate precision, like a judge sealing a verdict, and placed it gently on the table. He didn't throw it. He didn't crumple it. He just set it down. Then, he leaned forward. The studio lights caught the glint of his rings. He locked eyes with a stunned Leavitt, lowered his voice to a near whisper, and delivered the line that has arguably broken the internet. He said, "Baby girl, I've stood on sets and stages watched by millions. I've made art in the middle of chaos, loss, and hope. I've faced critics with more bite and less grace than you. You don't rattle me, not even slightly." And to really drive the point home, the energy in the room screamed the words everyone was thinking, "Sit down." Leavitt opened her mouth, scrambling, her eyes darting around the room looking for a lifeline, stammering something about, "This isn't about," but it was over. The air had left the room. The clip cut there, but the damage was done. Social media instantly erupted. Within minutes, "Sit Down Baby Girl" was trending #1 worldwide. The memes are already rolling in, featuring Depp as a judge, Depp as a teacher grading a failing paper, and Leavitt looking like a student who forgot her homework. What makes this moment so potent isn't just the insults, it's the contrast. You had the frantic, high-energy political attack meeting the immovable, unbothered force of Hollywood royalty. It was a collision of two different worlds. Leavitt tried to play the game of political gotcha, where whoever speaks loudest wins. Depp played the game of total indifference, proving that you don't need to raise your voice to completely eviscerate an opponent. He used her own biography as a weapon, turning her facts and logic strategy against her in the most humiliating way possible. Critics are already debating the baby girl comment. Some are calling it condescending, a power play designed to belittle her. Others are calling it the ultimate power move, a verbal pat on the head to someone acting like a petulant child. But regardless of where you stand on the phrasing, one thing is undeniable. Johnny Depp came prepared. He didn't just show up to an interview. He showed up to a crime scene that he was about to create. This marks a new era for Depp. We are seeing a version of him that is less concerned with being the polite, whimsical actor and more comfortable leaning into his villain era, or perhaps his truth-teller era. He is done playing nice with people trying to use his name for clout. As for Karoline Leavitt, this is going to leave a mark. It is hard to pivot back to talking points about strength and leadership when you have just been fact-checked into oblivion by Captain Jack Sparrow on live television. It is the kind of clip that follows you. Every time she tweets, every time she posts a video, someone in the comments is going to drop a sit-down, baby girl gif. It is the curse of the viral moment. This showdown proves that in the age of 24-hour news cycles and social media warfare, research is your best weapon, and composure is your best shield. Leavitt brought heat, Depp brought ice. And as we saw last night, ice burns just as bad as fire. We will have to wait and see if there is a round two, but if I were Leavitt, I would probably avoid any leather jacket-wearing actors for the foreseeable future. But I want to hear from you guys. Was Johnny Depp's takedown a legendary moment of justice? Or was he too harsh on the young political hopeful? And what did you think of the baby girl comment? Sexist or savage? Dive into the comments section right now and let me know whose side you are on. Do not forget to smash that like button if you enjoyed this breakdown, and hit subscribe with the notification bell turned on so you never miss the hottest tea spilling from Hollywood to Washington. Until next time, stay savage.